How good does it feel to finally get that deal done?
Yeah, been a while negotiating, but man, it feels good. Feels like I'm loved, right? Feels like that, I have an opportunity to respond to, a lot of the different things that's going on in my life and a lot of the different things that have been going on, and it feels good to be, locked into a place and have the place also respect you and give you honor as well. So.
Did you always know that you would end up back here in the long run going through these negotiations?
Yeah, I mean, there's a strong knowing, right? So I would say I believed, right? But you never really know how the NFL operates, right? There's so many different things can be thrown at you. So you have to be appreciative when, you could be drafted to a team and then the team extends you more years, right? So there's always a sense of honor there, right? So.
You really fit into this defense last year, Jim's defense. Why was it so suited for you, and where can you go next?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have a different scheme, right? It's all about progression. It's all about learning the scheme, but it's also about the relationships that you build with the coach, the relationship that you build with your teammates. So the scheme, I think, that allows me to be myself per se, right? And it allows me to really tap into the personnel that I believe that I fit into, which is being very diverse, whether it's blitzing off the edge, staying in the middle, being in pass coverage, pass rush, whatever it may be. So I feel like it's a diverse defense and works well with different personnel. So.
How did you not let that become a distraction in negotiations as you're preparing for this season?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing, as a football player, your job is to focus on the field. That's why you hire an agent. That's why you hire, financial advisors. You have to hire chefs, right? You have to hire all of these different resources to be able to be, that accommodation between, whether you trying to eat, whether you're trying to do, contracts, right? You have people for that. So it's not a distraction at all. It's a process that everybody has to go through eventually, and you just have to focus on the now and the then, right? So.
What do you think you have more to bring to this defense than you've shown so far?
Yeah, it's just about strengthening the things that I have done, strengthening my playmaking ability, strengthening my ability to not make mistakes, strengthening my ability to be the best teammate that I can, being the best brother that I can, the best man that I can, on and off the field, right? It's very important that a lot of the guys really key in on the off the field things as well, and not just the things that are happening on the field, so that we can lead to the best success possible. So.
I know you said you didn't allow your final year of your rookie deal to be a distraction for you, but just as a man and a human being, was that something that you were thinking about this offseason, going into your final deal and the uncertainty that does come with that?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's uncertainty, but then there's also certainties, right? There's certainties that, hey, look, I can breathe again, right? And again, I think that, when you're stepping into that year where there's a possibility that you could be re-signed, you have it in your mind, right? But then again, it goes back to the resources. You have resources to help you through that. This isn't something that's a new thing, right? We have veterans that have been through it. We have guys that have been coaching for a while that's been through it, right? So it's nothing that's new. It's about compartmentalization and just putting things in the right place at the right time. So.
Well, what was the key to you making such a big jump from your second year to the way you played last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at the numbers, a lot of people, say like, oh, some dramatic big jump, But if you look at the numbers, it's not 30 tackles off, right? Like isn't like, this super, Superman that comes to play. No, I think that it's about process. It's about learning more. It's about growing more. It's about having new teammates, understanding your teammates, and just being able to make those changes, make those mistakes in a way that they won't happen again. So I think that that's really the keys to it. It's just about progression and growth.
Without Hicks available, are you the guy that they talk to?
Say again?
Are you the green dot guy without Hicks on the field?
Here and there. It's not like every single down, but it's here and there. Yeah.
Is Delpit another one?
Depending on the personnel. I'm not sure. Depending on the personnel. Yeah.
What is year two in Jim Schwartz's defense as a whole? What does that look like? What are you gleaning from in the meetings and on the field and everything? What's the potential of what that can look like?
Well, I think you've seen the potential. Obviously, like it'll grow as time goes on, but it's much of the same things. Being much in the same positions, I'm still playing well. I'll be playing, third downs, similar to how I did last year. But it's just about stepping into the role where it's more of a communication, more of understanding the different things, the moving parts, advancing in my IQ as the years go on, having more experience in the defense, helping some of the other guys out as well, understanding some of the other positions. Again, I think the key word that we're dealing with here is just growth and progression, right? So that's what it is.
If there were a Mount Rushmore of the Browns defense, you'd now be on it because there's Miles, Denzel, Delpit, and you have gotten that second contract. So how do you feel about it being a foundation player for this team?
Well, I'm not quite at those guys' levels. I may be on one of the hills around here in Cleveland. And they're up there. But as time goes on, I look to be where they're at. I look to transcend the mountain and continue to work to be the best player and teammate that I can. So.
Rodney, just for clarity, who called you this morning, and what was your reaction to now having this all wrapped up?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I had a call this morning, but nevertheless.
Building?
Yeah, nevertheless, when I walked in the building, it was a good feeling just to knowing that, stability, security, and, those things are the biggest two things for, a young player that, looks to do not only things on the field, but also things off the field. Stability is something that's very key for guys like me that want to get involved in the community, wanting to take, that responsibility to help and solve problems. So, I'm very glad for the opportunity and wish to honor that opportunity that I've been given.
Jeremiah, Rodney McLeod was just talking about you earning the extension. And he said it's life-changing. Has it sunk in that way for you yet?
Well, I mean, it's always life-changing. I mean, to be honest, when I wake up in the morning, I feel like it's life-changing, right? Because not everybody gets to do it, right? All we're doing is talking about things that and opportunities that's been handed to you that other people have not had. And it's a chance to just respond to it, right? God has bestowed a gift upon you, and it's your duty to respond to that. Ability, right? If you want to put it like that, right? So I think that, it's a big thing. It's a life-changing thing. But, even in the minute details of just waking up in the morning, all of those things, mean a lot to me. So.
Did you always know that the Browns felt differently about you than other linebackers, other people? Because when you got drafted, Andrew Berry said people thought it was a fever dream because he would never draft a linebacker that high, never trade up for one. And then they extend you, and they haven't done that with linebackers. Like, have you always felt kind of special in their eyes?
Well, I felt special in that. Well, again, it's not necessarily about a belief in feeling or an emotion or something that's spook, something that I can't see, right? I saw that they, traded up, right? So that obviously there's some type of value that they see in me, right? Of course, I see that they're extending me, so obviously there's some type of value there that they hold for me. So, I honor that again. I appreciate that, and it's my duty and my responsibility to answer to those calls or that specialness that's been bestowed upon me. So.
JLK, did you ever, when you were in high school or at Notre Dame, ever dream of having this much money?
I have a dream about having this much money. Well, I mean, the goal is to continue to grow, right, in every aspect, whether it's my character, whether it's my finances, my economics, whatever it may look like, even spiritually, right? When I was in high school, I had a level of calling. What I'll say is that my name, Jeremiah, in the Hebrew, is Yirmiyahu, and it means to exalt or to lift up. So as time went on, I began to embed in that definition, and everything that I want to do, I wanted to continue to rise. So it's not about getting to a milestone where I was like, oh, that's a lot of money, so let me sit down. It's all about continue to make those progressions, continue to grow to the best that I can be. So.
I know it's 4 years away. Flag football is going to the next Olympics in LA. Would you want to play for your native country?
Yeah, that's actually a huge. I've been having a lot of talks about that lately, actually, with some of the brothers that's back in Ghana and just finding a way. We have a guy coming in here that he plays for the Vikings. Samoa, he's coming in as well. He's from Ghana too, and we've been talking about it, and it'll be cool. It'll be dope if that is a possibility that we can do. I think we both have citizenship, so I think that's something dope that we can do.
Be unique in your career, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be unique. That'd be unique being the first kind of like, and I don't know. I feel like I want to coach it versus getting out there, going against Jamar Chase and everything. I'd rather just coach.
Jeremiah, you talk about progression and growth. How much have you seen that in terms of your voice within the locker room, your leadership, that sort of thing within this team?
Say again?
Just how much have you seen your kind of your own voice kind of grow and as a leader in this team?
Yeah, I would say that the word is pace. Just in the process of me gaining more information, being here longer, building my relationships more with the front office, with my teammates, with the coaches, with the janitors. I'm a fan of the janitor. I always mention the janitors. With the janitors, right? Building my relationship with the organization, I think my voice has become more paced and understanding when to and not to, when to be loud or not to. And I think that that's the real mastery of being a football player, especially a linebacker, is just about being that, if I was to quote Coach Schwartz, that nerve center, and just understanding there's a time and a place for everything. So that's what I would say the progression has been with, my voice in the team and my presence on the team.
What's that responsibility, you said with the I, that comes with that? Is that part of that talking more?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is talking more, but then again, if there's not much talking that's needed, then that's also something that you kind of are aware of and see it and say, well, I don't need to be talking at this particular second. A lot of times, when you, people go therapy, they'll say the first thing is, are you aware of this disease? Are you aware of this mental issue that you have? And that's the first step, right? Is just being aware of your surroundings and the circumstances that you are in, and then from there you can decide, what you need to do, right? So. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Congratulations. Rodney, you said in the spring you didn't expect to be extra emotional once this got rolling. Has that stayed true?
Yeah, it definitely stayed true. I think it's just like a kid again, just enjoying like every single moment of football. Of course on the grass, but also in the locker room. Those are the memories that everybody talks about they miss the most. So just grateful for another year and just taking it one day at a time.
So do you think, you head into the joint practices this week thinking, these are my last joint practices ever?
Yeah, it's like you checking everything off the list. It's like, all right, my last conditioning test, my first time having to travel for training camp, and probably my last set of joint practices. So I'm looking forward to competing. To be honest with you, it's a great group rolling in here. We got a great challenge, to work against a different scheme, see how we line up versus, some top tier receivers in the league. So, the group's ready and we're going to give it our best.
You've been in the Jim Schwartz defense in year two previous. What does year two of a Jim Schwartz defense look like? I mean, obviously Philly looked really good.
Yeah.
But what are those sort of steps that kind of go through?
Yeah.
This defense?
I think first and foremost, you usually want to see just growth from year one to year two, and growth looks like better communication, better understanding of the defense, right, and your role within each call. And I think, we started off on a good foot thus far from OTAs to this point in training camp. There's still room for improvement always. You've never got it. But I think we started off in a better place than we did last year, and that's going to pay dividend for us, going into this year.
Rodney, thinking about last year to the joint practices in Philly, it seemed like you guys just went out there the first day and imposed your will. How important is that when you have two practices to really set the tone on day one for the defense? Yeah, one thing we talk about in our room is the standard travels. And so what's apparent is that we had a great home record last year, but, we failed, on the road. And that's about consistency. And so I think, what we want to see in these 2 days of practice is consistent ball, great level of focus, communication, hustle, intensity, everything that's required for us to win. And of course, production. Those are the things that you want to see on full display in all three phases of the game over the course of these next two practices.
I know he's not in your position group, but JOK had a huge year last year. And because you know Jim and you know that defense so well, did you see him as a player that was going to thrive in that kind of a system? Absolutely.
He's the definition of attack. And he gets downhill like a flying missile. He has a great feel and recognition for the game. And so he was a great fit for us. And he brings versatility. Not only can he create tackles for loss in the run game and apply pressure on running backs through his rush efforts, but he also has the ability to cover well. And that's a lot of his just upbringing and background, being a basketball player, and just very gifted individual, I would say. He's my locker mate, so I talk about, man, I need some of his juice this year to give me, a few additional steps. Yeah. But JOK's been, man, he's been lights out for us.
Rodney, you're obviously, as one of the leaders on this team, the situation like what's going on with Mike Hall happens, how do you approach this? And how do you make sure guys are focused on this? And like, do you talk to Mike? How do you sort of approach this whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, everybody, we're a team. We're a family. And, we're understanding that certain things are going to arise and take place. And so you have to treat it as such. We're all human beings. And so, for us, we're just trying to learn more about what took place, and, we'll handle things accordingly from there.
Rodney, what do you get out of a preseason game that you don't get out of the joint practice? Some conversations happening about should we maybe scrap one preseason game to add more joint practices, or just change the scenario?
Wait, repeat that again? Sorry.
I'm just going to shorten it.
Yeah.
What do you get out of a preseason game that you don't get out of a joint practice? Why do we need both?
I think this is more of a controlled environment. As much as we are, full tilt to a degree, there's still a different level that the game presents. You're now tackling all the way to the ground. Here we're just asking for thud. So there's a lot, more to it in a game setting versus a practice environment. So I think there's value in both.
Kevin made the case on Monday, that it's also a really good opportunity for some of the the roster guys, undrafted guys, to put their resume out there. How important is that to sustain guys who maybe wouldn't get the chance otherwise?
Very important. What you're seeing, over the course of these next couple of days is a lot more from the ones. So the reps of a position of a threes or a drafted position, now lessens. And so that's where the game now pays dividend. I was one of those guys, undrafted, fighting for a roster spot. And, I'll tell you that the game did matter. It was a way for me to show my abilities, my talent, and build trust, from my team, coaches, and teammates. So super excited for those guys when they get the opportunity this upcoming weekend.
Most of you have such long careers. Where would you be without preseason?
Yeah, no, exactly. Would have never been discovered, to be honest. So I still think preseason does serve an importance for everyone's growth.
Ronnie, you mentioned being locker mates with JOK, and I was going to ask you about that. So I saw you guys talking a bunch last year. Like, what did you learn about him, whether he's a football player or not, just being so close to him?
He's a very in-depth thinker, very intellectual, and cares a lot about his family. That's first and foremost what I recognize about him. And he has a great sense of humor and has an odd way of doing things, but it's his way, and I respect that. He's always his authentic self, and that's what I enjoy most about JOK.
That linebacker.
What do you think about him getting a contract extension today? And then with that investment, I know he had a good season last year.
Yeah.
What do you think is kind of the future for him?
Yeah, earned not given is the first thing that comes to mind. He's earned every bit of what he received today and was rewarded through his production, the way that he played last year. And this organization understands that caliber player, they need to keep him around for, extended period of time. And so I know he's going to take that next step in his journey now, and I'm excited for him. And honestly, that's something that is life-changing. You talking about you change the course of your family and the trajectory for yourself, financial freedom, and I know that thing is very important for him.
That linebacker room just looks different this year, personnel-wise, with Taki gone and Awak gone, and he's suddenly one of the guys that's been there the longest, him and Tony. How do you think he's going to handle, that seems like an increased leadership role?
I think he's embraced it, to be honest. It's what's expected of not only us, but I think he expects it of himself. Now he's had the opportunity to kind of learn from guys like Anthony Walker and other OGs who sat in his room, and it's now time for him to, wear that crown alongside a guy like Jordan Hicks again, who's been around for an extended period of time, great leader himself, fine linebacker in this league, and I have great confidence that not only will we see the same JOK from last year on the field, but we'll get a different side of him in a leadership position.
Rodney, across that secondary, whether it's the safety room or the cornerback room,
It just seems like young guys are able to come in and perform. Even in this preseason game, a guy like Miles Hart. What is it about your guys' group in that secondary that allows young guys to just step in and perform like that?
Understanding the standard, understanding the men that we all represent when we get out there. That's what we talk about. Once we hit that grass, we represent the entire room, and we all take great pride in that, and understanding that we understand the mission at hand, and the mission is to be the best, and that comes with a great deal of preparation throughout the week, both in the classroom and on the grass, and everyone's coachable and selfless, and when you have that, that's the making of a special room.
It also seems like you guys are the loudest out there. Practice.
Yeah.
Take a little pride in that.
Yeah, you have to be, as a defensive back. You got to have a great deal of confidence in yourself, to line up every single play, on the island, or knowing if I don't make this play, what the outcome can be. And, like I said, we take on that challenge every single day. We line up, and that's the reason for a lot of the extra antics and celebrations because, man, we deserve it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
How's camp going for you this year?
It's going well, man. Excited to be out here.
What do you get from this new offense that is going to make the Browns better?
I feel like everybody's learning day by day. We're all gelling out here in camp, so I feel like it's going to be explosive offense.
What are you looking forward to most about these joint practices?
Just competing, going against somebody different, and actually, one of our players said that yesterday. We don't look to compete, we look to dominate, so that's something that I feel like we're all kind of living by right now.
Who said that?
Excuse me?
Who said that?
Stefanski said it first, and then Coop said it. Yeah.
You weren't practicing last year in the Eagles joint practices, did you?
Nah, I didn't practice with him.
So just to get a chance to do that with this team and see a different defense, how exciting is that, knowing so much is new in this offense?
Nah, yeah, I'm super excited. I'm happy to be here.
JOK signed his extension today, and just wondering, going up against him in practice every day like you do, what do you see in JOK? Just how good is he?
He's around the ball every single play. He's a high energy player. He's someone that knows his stuff. So when you play against him, just be ready to get hit. Yeah.
Elijah, how would you describe the state of the offense right now? You guys haven't been together a lot on the practice field, the number one team. Is this the time to accelerate the growth?
Yeah, this is what camp is for. I feel like everybody's excited to be here. Obviously, we're in a new system, and it's gelling, it's taking the steps.
And Elijah, does it present any kind of a distraction to you guys that Mike Hall is going through a domestic violence charge, or how do you guys approach that as a team?
We just sit there and we pray for him. Life happens outside of football. We can just focus on what's going on in the building and pray for him for whatever's going on outside.
Elijah, it's a different kind of distraction, but Amari's been mentioned in the possible trade stuff with the Brandon Ayuk. How have you guys handled that as a room? How have you seen Amari handle that personally?
Just stay off our phones. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we can't control none of that. He's someone that doesn't really get too into that stuff. No way. You gotta take it day by day. And that's exactly what he did.
Is that just all part of the game? You've had things in New York and stuff like that. Is that just part of the game that you guys kind of have to learn how to navigate and deal with?
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes it just pops up on our phone. You see what I'm saying? People call us. We got lives too, but I feel like everything is not the circumstances, how you respond. And I feel like we are all responding well.
Is your role in this, new offense, adjusting offense, do you feel like your role has changed a lot?
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to wait and see.
What's a good next step for you with another year under your belt? With these, it's kind of a new offensive coaching step, but with Stefanski and with Watson, what's a good next step for you?
I feel like football in general, I've always said it from my rookie year, the more you play, the more comfortable you get, you see what I'm saying, the more you understand the defenses, the more you're dealing with the guys, football just becomes more comfortable. I've been playing football since I was 6, so it's just another step.
Do you feel like you guys as a team are so locked in and on such a mission this year, maybe even more so than ever, that if there does really seem to be a let's close ranks, let's stick together, let's pull together and just focus on the mission?
I feel like that's the mission every single year. You know, obviously we have to take it year by year, and that's what we're doing. So I feel like every single year that we should attack the mental approach, it should be that, you know, this is the one, you know, and that's what we're doing.
What do you think adding Jerry to this offense kind of does to take it to the next level?
He's another route runner. He's from the crib, so familiarity. And then just having the competitiveness, you know, when you have more people doing more great things, it holds everybody else accountable.
How has he kind of gelled in the room, like from a personality standpoint?
It's been great. We all from Florida, so our room is kind of already known each other. So, you know, I think it's good.
How big is that? You know, the room, a lot of the room is from Florida.
Yeah.
You guys all kind of just have that natural gel with each other.
I don't think that I've ever seen that. I mean, since I was in college, I've never had a whole room, you know what I'm saying? Well, not the whole room, but, you know, the guys that we brought in and we've already had are from Florida. And at that, almost the same part, you know, so I think it's exciting. We get to learn from each other.
Did you guys know each other before you got here?
Yeah.
Florida connection?
I played 7-on-7 with Judy, and I'm barely, like, I want to say grew up with him football-wise. You know what I'm saying? We played each other in high school, my freshman year and sophomore year, and then we played on the same 7-on-7 team my sophomore and junior year.
Elijah, have you seen your relationship and your chemistry with Deshaun, especially with the new choice routes being incorporated into this offense? How have you seen that relationship evolve and grow here over the last during the offseason program?
It's been going good, you know, we day by day.
How does he look physically to you?
He looks good. Yeah, he looks good to me.
Now could be a time for you to be talking contract extension now too. How do you feel about where you're at with the organization in the future here?
I'm taking it day by day. If you focus on that, you're gonna get too far ahead, you know, of yourself. So.
Are you looking forward to, how much are you looking forward to perhaps the time when you and Amari and Jerry can really get out there consistently in 11-on-11s and get this thing rolling the way you want to?
Yeah, I know. You know, football brings little bangs up here and there, so when everyone gets on the same page, you know, we'll be on the same page.
And how about, are you hoping to see that some out here in these next 2 days? Is that going to?
Yes, ma'am.
So it'll kind of be the first glimpse of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Or what do you expect it to look like?
Exciting. Exciting.
Good?
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.